Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Amagati, your family life coach. I am here again with another episode of parenting in a foreign culture. Now, if you're new to my channel, I want to say a big welcome to you. Thank you for those of you who have been with me from the very beginning and supporting me. I am so grateful. If you have any questions, again, I say this at every recording. Please don't be bashful. Put it in the comment section or email me. Let me know, and I will make sure I address any issues or concerns that you have. Again, I am learning as you're learning, but I do have some training under my belt, and I would love to share my skills and my expertise with you. Okay? All right. So let's dive into today's episode. I am coming your way today based on an inspiration from something that happened to me last week. So last week I was at an event, and at that event I got introduced to a new family that had just moved in from a country in Africa to the United States. Beautiful family, wonderful children, just caring and loving, full of smiles. Was smiling, mom was smiling, the children were smiling. They were so happy to be in America, and I was so happy for them that they felt the joy and felt excited about their new home. But at the same time, there was a lingering almost worry in my heart about this family. As happy as they seemed, I who have been also as an immigrant who has been here the last 20 years, um, almost knew the challenges that they will be facing in a short time, and so I kind of worried for them a little bit. Now, I am not a prophetess of doom and gloom, but I've also experienced and have also seen families who have come here who have just not done well as far as a family goes. Families that have been broken up because of differences and differences in finances or differences in the timing in which everyone almost assimilates into the American culture. So I personally know of several families that have come into America as a family, and then over the years just disintegrated. The marriage broke up, the children went different ways, some became wayward, some did well, but the family was not together like they were in their home country when they first moved here. And so seeing this family last week, it was touching to see how happy everybody was. And I was a little worried for them, and but also at the same time rooting for them and hoping that all work out for them, that they're still a strong family unit as they seem to be in my presence. And so it got me thinking. And so this episode I'm going to dedicate to any family that is moving, especially from Africa and other continents, into Western world, specifically Europe and the Americas, the US, for example, to Canada or to anywhere like that, in a society that is considered more individualistic, a society that is different from the way we are being raised. And so, if you are a family that is either on the verge or relocating, it could be an immigrant, a refugee, someone may be coming here for school or for work on an H-1B visa or on a student visa, and you're moving into the West with your children, with your family. This episode is for you, and I'm hoping that I will share a few things that maybe could help your family as you navigate this new system. Okay, so I will be using coming from Africa, any country, any part of Africa, into America because that's where I am, and so my experiences will be from here. I cannot speak for other countries, but I also know that the West is pretty much the same wherever you go. And so some of these will apply to you as well if you were, let's say, moving to England to go to school, and now you have to bring your children along with you. A few things I want you to consider. And as I share this video, please share with people you know who are maybe working on their visas or in the process of their green card, their H-1B, moving as a family. I think that they would benefit from this as well. I want to say that it is not easy moving into a new country, right? First of all, it is not easy moving from one home to another. How about much more moving from your home country to a different country, a different continent, a different way of doing things, right? And sometimes it's even a different language. So you could be probably coming from like a French speaking country into an English speaking country, or an English speaking country into a French speaking country, or a German speaking country, right? And so the language alone is a huge barrier because you have to overcome that and then adjust into the culture in which you're going. So I have a few tips for you. I may not exhaust all of them today within the time frame that I have, but if I don't, in the next video or maybe in subsequent videos, I will bring these things up. Anyway, that is why this channel is here, right? We're doing this channel to help parents like us who are raising children in another countries thrive, right? And so one of the things that I want you to know, a tip I want you to have right off the bat, is that your children, when you get into the new country, are going to acculturate. And acculturate is a big term. It just means to assimilate, to get used, to adapt to a new culture. They will assimilate into the culture you're moving into quicker than you will. Why? Because you're children, and children learn faster. They're still at the stage where their brain is developing. They're picking up language faster. They're picking up culture faster, way of life faster than you are. So when you get into a country like I am in America with children, your children quickly will become Americanized than you will. That is bound to happen. Now, if the language you're moving into is a different language than yours, your children would tend to speak that language quicker than you will. They will pick up that language, right? So, as a parent, one of the things that you don't want to do, and this is very typical, I've seen that happen, and I did a research whilst I was in school about acculturation and how that affects children, right? So one thing we notice, especially in the Americas, especially here in the United States of America, is that like the Hispanic children or children who speak Spanish speaking children would tend to translate for their parents when they go to the bank or go to school or go to different places. One thing you don't want to do is to let your children help you navigate this world that you're moving into. Okay. So let's say that you were moving to Germany and English is your language, but you don't speak German, but your children pick up German quicker than you do. If you have to go to the bank, if you have to talk to someone from the school, do not depend on your children to translate for you. But you're thinking that's the quickest way. They're right there. They understand the language. Let them speak the language for me, right? We default to that. But what you're doing now is that you're letting your children now carry on your burdens. So let's say there was a financial issue and you had to go to the bank and explain something to the banker. Your child should not go with you translating this information or interpreting this information to you. Let the child still be a child and not have to worry about all the things that are going on with you. If you have to take a friend or find someone else who can do the interpreting, or ask the bank or ask someone if they have someone who can interpret, then let them do that. Not you. Not your child is what I mean, right? Don't let your child do that for you, because what tends to happen is that then these children tend to carry on the burdens of the parents and then start being disrespectful because now they are stressed out to the point where they almost are rebelling, right? And so you don't want that to happen. You're still the parent, you're still the adult. Take care of adult issues. Let the children be children. Okay. So when you get to a culture that is different and the language is different, again, please don't let your children translate for you or interpret for you. Find someone else, another adult you can trust, or ask for an interpreter when you go places. Okay, so I hope that is a good tip for you. So your children, yes, indeed, will adjust and assimilate quicker than you will. Now, what tends to happen after that is that then there is this almost like a rift between you and your child because at this point, your child who was always looking up to you for direction, it's almost leaning more towards their friends because now they want to belong. Children want to feel part of a group, especially if they're in the preteen teen years. You almost start feeling that they start detaching from you. Developmentally, they're supposed to do that, but then in a call, when you move into a new culture like this, that will happen. So I want you to be prepared for that. That will happen. And sometimes they will get to the point where they don't even want to speak your own language to you. The language they've been speaking back at home in your home country, they wouldn't want to speak that at you. Almost like they feel embarrassed because then in this new world, everyone is speaking this one language. This child wants to assimilate. And so they start moving away. They stop speaking your language. They stop associating. They stop looking up to you for guidance because now they feel like they're figuring this country out quicker than you are. That calls for a lot of patience, a lot of communication, and a lot of talk. But I want you to be prepared because that will happen when you do move. Okay? Because your children, they will assimilate quicker than you will. They will pick up the language, they will pick up the accent. Even if, let's say, you were English speaking and moved into another English speaking country, they will pick the accent of the land quicker than you will, which is okay. Do not get intimidated by that. You are still the parent, right? Another thing you want to quickly also do is understand the norms of the land, right? What does corporal punishment look like? Do they accept spanking? With that society, can you get in trouble for spanking? Is it really true that you will get in trouble for spanking? What is considered abuse? What is considered neglect? At what age can you leave your child at home by themselves? These are things that we need to understand because in some countries, you can leave your child home as young as age 7, 8, 9. In America and other places, you cannot leave your child home by themselves at a certain age. You can leave them at a certain age, but you cannot leave younger children in their care. So you kind of want to know these norms and these rules immediately you come into the country. That requires that you ask questions. Ask. And now you have a phone, right? You have a device that you can actually Google search and look at those knobs. Okay, so I hope that you can do that. If you're watching me right now, you're probably watching me on your phone. Go on your phone, Google what are the parenting rules in this country I'm living in or moving into. So you want to know those rules when you move in. Okay, you also want to be vigilant because there's some things that goes against your religious or cultural beliefs that are probably being taught in certain schools. You want to ask questions. Do not get intimidated by their English or by their German or whatever. Do not get intimidated. You want to know what your child is getting into. You want to talk to your child. Your child will come home and say things that you are probably not used to or comfortable with. Let them speak. Communication, 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 communication. Okay. And then one more thing I'm going to add, and I'm looking at my clock right here, and my time is up with you. I try to keep these times short because I want it to be worth your while and that I'm not just ranting on. Okay. One more thing I want to add on is that you, as a parent, need to know what happens in school at every stage. What is the expectation? Should your child be reading at a certain level? Should your child be reading at another level? Okay, so those are the things you want to consider. If there's anything you can do at home to help your child, because if they're coming into a new culture, the educational system is probably different from your educational system. It takes a while for them to understand the system. That also means that in that new term or semester, they're going to be struggling academically because you're trying to find their way. You want to supplement if you're able to help them at home. If you are not able to help them at home, can you ask a friend or somebody else to help them? There are also all these things online. Khan Academy. I'm not being paid to promote them, but there are all these other resources, worksheets, things that they can learn at home. On YouTube, there are classes, there are things that they can learn, right? So start supplementing and helping them as they adjust to this new place. And please go easy on them because it's hard for your children as well to adjust in school. All right. So I'm going to end here. I'm going to come back and record another episode later. And in my next session, I want to talk about flexibility and as a parent and as parents, what you can do to make time for your child because it is hard moving them to a culture that is different from the culture you raised them in. All right. So I hope that our time together has been worth your while. That's something I have said has stuck with you. Now, if you are not in the situation where you are now moving to a new culture with your child, maybe share this video to someone you know who is looking to migrate as a student, as an employee of a company, or coming in on a green card or anything like that, who is getting ready to move. Let them listen to this because coming in is hard, settling is even harder, right? And I hope that I can help you. If you have any questions regarding this topic, please reach out and let me know. Again, I am Amagati. I am your family life coach. I thank you for liking, for subscribing, for sharing, 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 sharing. That's how we grow our community. So I look forward to coming your way again soon. Thank you so much.